So, Fallout 76 was a disaster, if you haven't heard. At least Bethesda Game Studios still has Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6 on the horizon, right? Since Starfield is coming first and more likely to be current gen, we thought about what we'd like to see in it, especially given Bethesda's direction with open world games over the past few years. So, let's take a closer look. Karma system. When Fallout 4 removed the karma system, it undercut quite a bit of consequence from one's actions. Instead of just reintroducing the same system from Fallout 3, Starfield should have a more nuanced consequence system. Rather than hostile factions hating you outright, their overall behavior and actions should change based on your reputation. For example, if you have a reputation for hunting down space pirates, then a pirate faction could be hostile, wary, trying to use you to wipe out competitors, and so on, depending on your overall morals. More open-ended narrative. A compelling narrative in a single-player experience is always sought after, but the appeal of Bethesda open-world games is being able to do what you want. The narrative of being the chosen one or having to locate X family member in past games conflicts strongly with this. Why are you running around hunting super mutants and building settlements instead of finding your son in Fallout 4? By comparison, Starfield should have a more open-ended narrative, with the universe changing from your actions. A central guiding objective is still encouraged, but the focus should be more on characters, their intriguing tales, and how they intersect with each other in the grand scheme. Just don't go all Fallout 76 and throw characters, dialogue trees, cutscenes, and so on out the window again. Perks and skills. One major pet peeve I've had with Bethesda's Fallout games is the handling of perks and skills. So in Starfield, perks should go back to being specific bonuses unlocked every few levels. They could have neat sub-perks offering a supplemental bonus to the base perk but with small downsides. Skills, meanwhile, will work as they always have. Small arms still affects one's affinity for guns, while science will improve one's handling of technology. A level cap should be reintroduced to force players to make meaningful choices with their builds. Furthermore, skills should more heavily influence the environment. Scientists hacking turrets, thieves sneaking past entire encounters, and so on, all of which offer their own EXP rewards, should be encouraged along with your usual gun battles. Handful of worlds. It's not too strange to expect a number of explorable planets in Starfield. However, it's time for Bethesda to rein in its scale, especially if it wants to provide a number of quests, different consequences, interactions, and side quests. 4 worlds at best should be provided and filled with unique characters and memorable stories. Go the Deus Ex or Yakuza route, for crying out loud, and flesh out these tales as best as possible. Engine enhancements. Bethesda's Todd Howard already confirmed that the creation engine will be used in Starfield. Yes, we know. Even if it does have some enhancements here and there, we're hoping that these are drastic enough to provide better animations and improved stability over past Bethesda games. That's not to mention less glitches like the infamous frame rate tied to physics problem that was in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 76, though that last one was patched shortly after launch. Better QA. Even if major improvements are made to the engine, Bethesda needs better QA. Bugs, glitches, and other annoyances have been, well, charming staples for a while, but they've reached a whole new level of awful with Fallout 76. If the number of issues are simply too overwhelming, even after enhancing the creation engine or scaling back the overall size of its worlds, then Bethesda needs to revamp its development process. Hopefully, Fallout 76 was a good lesson in that regard, and we don't see the same problems in Starfield. Reduce emphasis on loot grinding. Since Fallout 4, Bethesda has been leaning harder into loot grinding. The core gameplay loop fell into exploration, finding new weapons and armor, scrapping what you didn't need, and repeat. Legendary weapons kept players busy in the post-game and encouraged them to keep playing even when the story was over. While stronger loot is a priority for gameplay progression, there should be a greater focus on providing a fulfilling campaign in Starfield. That means having side quests with more variety, interesting stories, and different playstyles. Bethesda can introduce different ways for players to keep themselves busy in the post-game, but it doesn't always need to be one big loot/resource grind. Bounty system. That being said, a bounty system is something we could see ourselves getting into. As a replacement for Radiant quests, bounties could provide a wide array of tasks while playing the main story. Some bounties could be fashioned as actual side quests, each having their own narrative and consequences. There could also be different kinds of bounties suited to thieves or scientists, but still doable and more challenging for other classes with better rewards. Central base. Settlements were a neat concept in theory, but we'd like to see a single central base in Starfield. No building, just a base on a planet or a ship with different features that can be upgraded. Changing the look and mood should be possible, and junk can still be collected. However, the latter should only serve to upgrade and craft new items or to trade in different activities. Piracy and trading. Elite Dangerous and the upcoming Star Citizen have activities for piracy, bounty hunting, and trading. While Starfield doesn't have to be as expansive, it should still let players indulge in some freelancer-like shenanigans for extra rewards. Attack fleets for their cargo, or infiltrate them to steal it in a stealthy manner before offloading it in the black market. Open up trading to be more economy-based and influenced by trends. You can still trade with anyone, but there will be mega corporations that might offer additional benefits for bulk trades, new ships, resources, squad mates, etc. Go the full Stellaris megacorp route and let players become slavers if they want, selling humans or even their own allies to the highest bidder. NPC teammates. Starfield doesn't need to go full Mass Effect, but its combat could use a good dose of tactical variety. Instead of one follower, players should be able to create an entire squad. Pausing combat and issuing commands for setting up ambushes would also be swell. Starfield should also go fully old school and provide an isometric overhead perspective with turn-based combat for those who really want it. While switching between third-person, first-person, and overhead perspectives might prove challenging to manage, players should have those options available. Different kinds of pets. We'd also like the ability to capture creatures from the wild and use them as party members. They could offer different bonuses and tactics, thus opening up combat strategies even more. Of course, we'd also be okay with just having a bunch of pets and letting them roam the base willy-nilly. We'll pass on the ability to hold death matches featuring said pets though. You can keep that one, Bethesda. Dialogue trees and speech checks. No ifs or buts. Bring back dialogue trees. And we're talking about dialogue options which are actually in line with what the player will say. Speech checks are also a given for opening up different dialogue options and choices depending on one's character. If Starfield is meant to evoke the Fallout approach of meaningful decisions, it needs to reinforce this in conversations, like the older games did. Gravity-based combat. Starfield's space setting, even if it encompasses a few different planets, should have different kinds of gravity added into the equation. You can have your interiors with normal gravity, but environments with lower gravity for higher jumps, or zero gravity settings that require, say, jetpacks to get around properly would be cool. Once again, different builds could have different experiences, like scientists creating anti-gravity boots or thieves using grappling hooks for moving through different gravity levels. Space combat. With all this talk about ships and combat, we have to admit, we'd really like to see some space combat in Starfield. It may also provide a nice incentive for Bethesda to create PvE and PvP modes so that multiple players can cooperate or dogfights against each other. If the development team really leans into it, we could see custom game modes, Starfighter, Assault-style maps, and much more, to say nothing of what modders could do. Either way, we need space combat. Make it happen. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.